Dear all of my students for the class CMB 270 as an essential of networking. Let's start this week at the first week of the semester with chapter 1, which is Introduction to Computer Network. When you talk about Introduction to Computer Network, then we will go as a global view for the computer network. When we talk about Introduction to Computer Network, then we will start with each other for the use of computer network. Why we need the local area network, where we can use the computer network, where we can apply or have an application over the computer network. Then we will move with each other to the network hardware. The network hardware here, we will talk with each other about the network topology. Network topology from the point of view of the size of the network. It's a very limited distance, like personal area network, or local area network, or intercity network, what we call metropolitan area network, and then move to the long distance communication as a wide area network, and then we will go to the global network, which is the internet right now. And I think that we define it as internet is defined as network of networks. When we start with each other here for the computer use of computer network, it means that computer network are a collection of autonomous computers. For example, the internet. They have many uses. Many uses here, it means that business application. Mean that the computer network is used on the level of the business application, which is here. Companies use network and the computers for resource sharing with the client-server model. It means that when we talk about the business application, it means that one of the business application that company use network and computers for resource sharing. We will see, or you have to understand that when you talk about the network as a resource sharing, it means that data sharing, program sharing. It means that sharing of the data between the companies, sharing of the data between the user, sharing of the program between the different end user. This is one of the application or the use of the computer network, what we call business application. Another business application, which is home application. It means that home contain many network devices. For example, computer, TV connected to the internet by cable, what we call cable TV, DSL, which is digital subscriber line, or wireless communication. It means that the second use of the network is home application. When we go here, mobile user, when we go here, social use, it means that you are using the computer network for the social network right now, like the Facebook, Twitter, or different social network. Then let's go back here. When we say we have business use, application as a home application, as a mobile application, and as a social issue, this is under the use of computer network. When we go here, network hardware. Network hardware, it means that you go with the network hardware as a network can be classified by their scale, by their size, by their user-to-user distance connectivity. Then you have a personal area network, which is very limited network. You have local area network, which we call enterprise network inside the company. MAN, which is metropolitan area network. We call here, this is intercity, say for example. WAN, which is wide area network. and then we come by the end for the internet, which is network of networks. When we go here for the personal layer network, which we call, this is very limited distance connected devices over the range of a person, for example, as a Bluetooth. Local area network, which connect devices in a home or office building, called the enterprise network in the company. This can be wireless local area network or wire local area network. When we go with the wireless local area network here, it means that we need to use a limited distance connection as a wireless connectivity. The protocol used here is IEEE 802.11. Or wired local area network, we use here what we call switched Ethernet. We will come into details for what's meant by IEEE 802.11. We will come in details for what's meant by Ethernet connection and Ethernet switch. Then we move here to metropolitan area network. It means that connect devices over metropolitan area. For example, MAN based on cable TV. The cable TV, which is spreading through a city, then it's a little bit between the local area network and wide area network. We call this is intercity network. Then we come to the wide area network. Wide area network as its application, devices over the country. Example, wide area network connecting 3 branch office. Mean that you have offices of the, say, any company or organization through the country, then they can connect between all of this as a long distance communication. Or wide area network through the public service, which is ISP, Internet Service Provider. Internet Service Provider, which network is also long distance communication, wide area network. Customer buy connectivity from Internet Service Provider to use it. Wide area network as a virtual private network is a WAN also built from the virtual link that run on top of the internet. Here, when we talk about virtual area network, it means that capsulation, decapsulation, and security over the internet, because we know that the internet is an open network, unsecure. That's why we need to use the internet as a secure network using VPN. When you talk about the third issue here, which is the network software, which is here. We call network software. Then when we go with the network software, it means that we will talk about the protocols used for the network connectivity, what we call protocol layer. It means that when we go with the network description, we say that we have a network, then we have a network topology, like we said, local area network, metropolitan area network, wide area network. Then to connect inside the network, we need what we call switching technique, which is circuit switching, packet switching. Then we go with the routing technique to choose the optimal path between the source and destination. Then we talk about routing technique to choose the shortest path or whatever the optimal path between the source and destination. We will talk in details about the routing technique. And then we will go with the what we call flow control technique. And then we go error control technique. Then we go with the addressing technique. All of these is a function should be implemented over the network. To implement all of these functions, switching, routing, flow control, error control, addressing, and whatever, then we need what we call a protocol. The protocol, what we call a set of rules that govern the exchange of information from one point to another point. That's why we will talk about the protocol. When we go with the network software as a protocol, then we have here the infrastructure, which we call ISO standard. Then we have the ISO standard, what we call Open System Interconnection Reference Model. We call here as a reference model as a Computer Communication Architecture's reference model. ISO OSI, International Standard Organization, Open System Interconnection. We have for the ISO OSI here, Open System Interconnection, 7-layer protocol, what we call physical layer, data link layer, network layer, transport layer, session layer, presentation layer, and application layer. each layer have a function through the established connection between the source and destination, through the timing between the source and destination, through routing technique over the source and destination, through error control and the flow control between the source and destination. Then we have, this is the reference model as an ISO standard, open system interconnection, and we have also the TCP/IP protocol. It is based on the TCP/IP model, which have 5 sub-layer, what we call physical layer, link layer, network layer, which here IP layer, transport layer, which we have the details later, which is the TCP and UDP in the internet, and then we come to the application layer as an example, which is client-server architecture and email system as an example. Then we will go with the network software here, which is related to the protocols used for, when we talk about network software, the protocols used for the network connectivity. Then we will go with the connection oriented and connectionless oriented. This is here. When you talk about connection oriented and connectionless oriented, it means that how to establish connection. Connection oriented versus connectionless oriented means that service provided by the layer may be kind of either connection oriented, must be set up of ongoing use and turn down after use. For example, phone call. Here, when we talk about connection oriented, it means you have to establish the connection between the source and destination before you start to transmit and receive. Connectionless messages are handled separately. It means that from one node to another node, you establish a connection between node 1 to node 2 through the link layer. Then when we come to the link node 2, you have to establish a connection between link 2 and node 2 and node 3 through the link layer. Mean that it's handled separately, not before starting the connection. Then when we talk about the reference model as a ISO standard and TCP/IP protocol, we will come to the details. As a TCP/IP, as an application layer, we have HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, Real-Time Protocol, and Domain Name System. We will go with the transport layer TCP, Transmission Control Protocol, User Datagram Protocol, IP Protocol, Internet Control Message Protocol. All of these is a functionality and the protocols inside the layering system. We will come to the details for that step by step with each other. As a network example, then the internet is a network example. 3G, third generation, fourth generation, next generation mobile network is a network also. Wireless local network, infrastructure wireless local network, or ad hoc network. All of these is a different example of the network. We will come to the details of all of these step by step through the different chapters and through the different weeks coming in. Then thank you so much for the first class, for the first chapter overview, and have a good luck for all of you for the whole semester. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.